And as usual, we're going to start our conversation and information with talking about money. Darren Farwell of the Farwell Group joins us week to week, and if not him, then a member of his team. And we talk about how to invest tax efficiently, and usually Darren has a happy story. So good morning, Darren.
Good morning, Marilyn. And in fact, I do have a happy story this morning. It's a happy story about managing change. What's that old saying? The only thing that doesn't change is change itself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, and in particular, in our current world of science and technology, it seems that pace of change is faster than ever. And often it comes to mind how we can cope with all the changes that, both we initiate ourselves and those that get thrust upon us, like a large inheritance, death, divorce, retirement, selling your business, and even moving. Bob Dylan had a line for this that really resonated with me so long ago. He said, "May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change shift." And a strong foundation, like in a building, provides the strength to withstand even when the winds get very strong. In my experience with people over, my 30 years of helping clients live life on their own terms, a strong foundation includes having a team of trusted professionals on your side. Professionals to discuss your ideas with, act as a sounding board, let you in on some things you didn't know in those areas you aren't an expert. And of course, to get that team of trusted professionals, it could be legal professionals, accounting professionals, wealth management professionals like myself. It takes time because, of course, those are relationships. And to earn and get a trusted relationship, it takes time. So it's something that you need to do in advance of something happening. Well, of course, from a wealth management perspective, that's what me and my team at the Farwell Group do. We're there to help guide you when you need us. Yes, with things financial, but much more. Today's story is about assisting others live life on their own terms, so I'd like to talk about that. And let me introduce for our story, Jill. Jill is a single woman, never married, age 68, who has lived and worked in Toronto all her life. A dear client arranged for me to meet Jill a good many years ago to help her with something. So I did. And Jill, is such a wonderful woman that I've been happy to help her a number of times over the years since. Here's the thing. Jill felt she was not moving forward recently in her life in Toronto anymore. So she began poking around places in Prince Edward County. Lo and behold, one day she just bought a place. Bang. $475,000 all in, rounding up with closing costs. The thing is, Jill hadn't even listed her place in Toronto yet when she slapped down her $50,000 deposit. So when she came back to Toronto, over the next few days, she started feeling a little anxious. So she sent me an email. And here's what she said in the email. "I'm in the process of making some changes and would like to get your ideas and help with some numbers. I am planning a move to Prince Edward County and need direction on the best way to do this. I really respect your knowledge, and also you speak to me in a language I understand. It would be very valuable for me if you could give me your input." Well, it'd be hard to say no to that one, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we met at my office, and as usual, I paid for Jill's tea and parking at Scotia Plaza. What was making Jill a little nervous was this. Her place in Prince Edward County cost $475,000, all in, rounded up. She put $50,000 down, so on closing date, May 1st, Jill had to come up with another $425,000. The thing is, her house hasn't even been listed yet. And even when it does, will she get a quick May 1st close? Quite possibly not. In non-registered savings, easily at hand, she only has $125,000. So on closing date, she'll be short $300,000.
Oops.
That's why she was feeling a little anxious. Look, Jill's a very smart woman. She has ideas about what she could do about that. But as she so eloquently voiced in her email, she wanted someone on her side to bat some ideas back and forth with. We discussed getting a line of credit based on the value of her current home and using that to make up the difference. She could do that, and, well, it would be a bit of a rush to get one between now and May 1st, but she could do it. It probably cost her about $900 in setup and legal fees, but it was one solution. She could withdraw all of her TFSA savings and, of course, next year put it back. And perhaps it's not a bad time to sell market-wise, but the fact is, well, her TFSA isn't large enough to come up with $300,000. We've only been able to put in about $56,000 up to this year. So even with earnings, we're nowhere near $300,000. She could have put the money back in after her house sells, but as I said, it wouldn't be enough. And so she would have to borrow from family or perhaps withdraw from her RSP. That'd be really tax inefficient, so not such a good idea. She could discount her selling price to ensure a fast close and have the money by May 1st, but that would be pricey because she would definitely have to get a big discount. She could get a loan against the cash surrender value of her life insurance policy. Now, that also is a very tax-effective strategy. But again, with the timing, it would be a bit of a rush. I mean, with so much going on, she's buying a new place, she's selling her old place, she has to do the staging. There's a lot going on. So to have to set up that kind of borrowing with private banking would be just an additional hassle, plus some extra fees.
She needs Lori Bell.
Well, Lori Bell is definitely someone she could talk to with all that's going on. Well, I'm sure we're going to hear a bit more about that a little later.
Yes,
Lori.
so far you've listed like almost a half a dozen alternatives. My goodness, her head must be going in circles.
Well, it was kind of fun because we were just sitting there talking about ideas back and forth. And as I said, she's a very smart woman. Most of these she'd already thought of herself. We were just trying to figure out the pros and cons of each. Mm-hmm. Well, then I suggested we call the developer of this new, it was where she was buying into a place that was just being built by a developer, and ask them what kind of financing arrangements they would provide, basically without anything more than a signature. And lo and behold, she could get a 1-year mortgage at 2.75% for the full $350,000.
Wow.
All she had to do was go in and sign the paperwork. So this way she was able to avoid all the costs that might come with the other solutions. And the thing is, she, had enough money cash on hand to make up the difference from the $350,000 and what she already put up. And that gave her the ability to, over the next year, sell her house comfortably, patiently, get the right price, and when the money from the house becomes available, keep it on hand so that when that mortgage comes up in 1 year, she can pay it off and be done with her mortgage.
So basically, you've proven that 2 heads are better than one, and when one of those heads is the Farwell group, she ends up with 7 or 8 solutions, and the last one is the best one, without any headaches, without biting her fingernails. And I'm going to tell you, because you weren't here the week I announced it, but we're going to have a realtor as part of our team starting next week, so I'm going to introduce you and Jill, if she'd like, to Helga Tateson.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, there was certainly no rocket science there, but as you said, it really is a matter of working as a team. That's one of the advantages of a team, is that very often 2 heads are in fact better than one.
And your other side, the Farwell Group, has all aspects. So they don't just look at the tax part of it, the accounting part of it. What I've learned is that your team is diverse and deep, so that when someone gets a perspective of what they should do, it takes into account many things that they may not have even thought about themselves.
Well, very often, as we've talked about so many times before, you don't know what you don't know. And
we always quote you, Darren.
And having all those other people around to help you out, well, you can also often explore some of those things you hadn't thought of.
So, if someone's sitting there and they think that they might want the input of someone else or a whole team of someone else's, like the Farwell Group, it may not be about a real estate decision, but just about money in general. Are you going to work today?
I'm not going to work today. We're going to visit family, but I'd love to have a telephone call and I can return the voicemail or an email.
Well, the fact is that you deserve a day off because most days you say to me, yes, I am going to work for a couple of hours. So if you wish to have a complimentary consultation with Darren Farwell and the Farwell Group and get a pair of second eyes and a second opinion on where your money is and how hard it's working, or you may have other issues, then complimentary consultation is yours. And I know the number, 416-863-7501. Free coffee, free parking if it's in your territory?
Always do that at Scotia Plaza, but also happy to go out and visit people either at their home or a local bank branch if that works better.
So it's very simple. It all starts with one little phone call to Darren Farwell, 416-863-7501. Two heads are definitely better than one, and it can't hurt to have information. Then you can sleep at night making a decision based on solid information with people who are experienced, because this team has existed since 1986. Thank you, Darren, and happy Easter to you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
So next Saturday, Leslie McCormick is going to join us, and we'll be talking about investing tax efficiently. And I guess we'll see Darren April 14th. So I'll look forward to speaking to you then and hearing more about Jill.
Yes.
So coming up after a few short messages, Dr. Betty Rosendahl of Thornhill Naturopathic Clinic is going to talk liver health. And then we're going to talk men's health and erectile dysfunction with Michelle Tamienko of Full Mast Clinic. And there's lots more to learn and listen to, all from a woman's perspective with me, Marilyn Weston, and my team right here on Zoomer Radio.